Dealing with stress and anxiety. Anxiety is more prevalent in today's society than it ever has been. In fact, 1 in 6 Australians are currently dealing with depression or anxiety. It is a virtual epidemic. And of course, we all have probably had that experience of emotional eating, having that connection with feelings of anxiety, depression, and stress. And so when we are looking at solutions for emotional eating and we're looking at ways to combat it, we really need to go back to that root cause and look at eliminating, alleviating, coping with, managing those feelings of stress and anxiety. Now, of course, your doctor should always be your first port of call, and perhaps you could get referred on to a mental health specialist if you feel like that needs to help you. So we encourage you to do that if you are having feelings of depression, anxiety, or overwhelm in any way. Now, I work a lot with clients that come to see me in my own practice for clinical hypnotherapy that are suffering with anxiety. Now, I'm going to share with you today just a few simple techniques which are there to give you immediate relief from those overwhelming feelings. Now, the first technique, and one of my favorites, really is so simple. And the reason I like it so much is because that you can do it anytime. You can do it when you are driving your car. You can do it when you're sitting at work in a meeting. You can do it if you're at a dinner party and there's lots of people around you. And so it's just called that 7-11 breathing. Now, this isn't just some sort of hope breathing. There really is a good physiological basis to this breathing. And so it is very, very difficult to do 7-11 breathing and not feel calm. Okay, so in the first instance, what you need to do is just let all of the breath out of your body. That's right. And now I'm just going to count you through this process. So we're going to start off by breathing in through the nose for a count of 7, out through the mouth for a count of 11. And just remembering that, very important to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And on that out breath, making it, it's almost as if you could purse your lips as if you were sucking through a straw, which really just allows you to do a nice, slow, gentle out breath. Otherwise, you might find yourself feeling like you want to keel over a little bit. Okay, so starting off now, breathing out, all air out, and then in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, for the time constraints that we have here on this video, I'm only going to do that 3 times with you, but really, if you're doing that for a couple of minutes, you'll really notice that relaxation response really starting to kick into the body. Now, another technique which is called bilateral stimulation, which is really working along the lines of binaural beats, EMR. It's that right and left brain stimulation. And so with all of those things, as I've mentioned before, it's helpful to start off by just scaling your level of anxiety at the beginning. Maybe it might be a 7, doing through these techniques, checking in with yourself. Where am I now? Maybe that's dropped down to a 5, maybe it's a 4. Let's do something else, let's bring that down again. And so the importance of these techniques, and why I like them so much, is that it's giving you a little toolbox of things that you can come back to. And I think sometimes just knowing that you have those tools is helpful, can allow us to just experience anxiety less by knowing that we have them. Okay, so this technique is called bilateral stimulation. It's all about stimulating left brain and right brain. And how we do this, it's so simple. I've just got a whiteboard marker in my hand at the moment, but you could use a bottle, you could use a ball. When I work with swimmers who are sitting in marshalling before they're going through, they use their goggles. So it's whatever you have to hand at the moment. And the technique is that you'll be passing whatever it is in your hand just from one hand to the other. And you're keeping your head quite still, And you're just following that with your eyes, almost as if your arms are opening and closing like little gates, opening and closing. And what you want to make sure is that you're crossing over the middle section of your body. So you're crossing over that middle section with your hands, and you're following whatever object is in your hands with your eyes. And you don't have to think about anything in particular. You know, you could think about something that you enjoy doing or something you're looking forward to. But it doesn't really matter, because what's happening is happening on the inside. It's happening inside your brain. You are now sending energy, electrical currents, oxygen to that left side and that right side. And once again, it's always useful to start off with a starting point of view where you're feeling, doing this for just a few minutes. And I think you'll be quite surprised to check in with yourself and see what's different then. Now, this technique, it isn't in the booklet, and I'm not sure why it isn't in the booklet, because it should be, because it's one of my favorite techniques because it is so simple. Now, the joy of this is knowing that people that have anxiety, that suffer with anxiety, however you want to call it, they have a lot of internal dialogue going on. There's a lot of commentary. Everyone who has anxiety is nodding at this point. Maybe it would be something along the lines of, oh, my heart's beating so fast, what's wrong with me? I'm sweating, I feel sick, why do I feel like this? Oh, now I've got to leave the house, I can't leave the house. There is that running commentary, and so it really helps to just bring those levels down by quietening that voice in our head. And so this is one of my favorite ways that I like to do that. And it's a type of meditation, I suppose, and it's really that simple. It's bringing your thumbs to your fingers, like that. That's it. Thumb to finger. So we are focusing on two things here. We are focusing on the feeling that you get as each finger touches. So as each finger touches, you might just want to give it that tiny bit of pressure. So it makes you aware of that feeling, just that tiny bit of pressure of those thumb pads and the fingers coming together. Just practicing doing that. The second part of this process is counting. So as this finger, first of all, comes to your thumb, we're starting with the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And for the sake of simplicity, we're only going to count in 8s. So we'll start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because the brain loves counting, it really does. Your subconscious mind loves numbers, and so you can find that very soothing. Now, the last technique I'm going to share with you today, and this is a little bit of a strange one, so you just have to stay with me and trust the process. This is a very famous NLP technique, in fact, called the spin. And so how this works is really stretching that imagination in a little bit of a different way, maybe that you're not used to. Is thinking about that feeling, letting yourself connect to that feeling of anxiety only as much as feels natural to you, only as much as feels comfortable to you. Finding that feeling in the body, and just imagining, some people it's in their chest, some people it's in their tummy, some people it's in their head even. So wherever it is for you, I'd say for me it would normally be in my tummy. So I would imagine that feeling in my tummy, and just to get a sense of it, I would see where that feeling was on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's say it's 7 on this occasion. And they would imagine that feeling. I might even give that feeling a colour, and it's purple, purpley black, a dark purple. And as I imagine that feeling there, the next thing I do is really use my imagination. Imagine pulling, if you could imagine such a thing, pulling that feeling out of your body. Pulling that feeling, that purple stuff, making sure you get all of it until it's just sitting there in front of you. And you'll notice now that it's spinning in a direction, clockwise, anti-clockwise. And I know mine feeling is spinning like that. So now it's purple now, and it's spinning in that clockwise direction. So all I want you to do is take hold of that feeling with your hands, and whichever way it's spinning, you stop it, and then you start spinning it fast in the other direction, and you make it speed up. and you make it go faster, and you make it go faster and faster and faster and faster, and it might even start changing color the faster it spins. And when it gets to the point that you don't even recognize that anymore, put that feeling back into your body. You take a breath, and then you go back in and you try to find that feeling again and notice what happens now. And now there's a reason that is one of the most famous NLP techniques, because although it sounds quite far out there and what is this woman talking about, you will notice, and it's just to do with how our brain processes information, that when you go in and try to find that feeling, for some people it's completely gone, and for other people it just feels quite different. They'll spend a bit of time searching for it. So I hope those techniques have been helpful for you. Please try them out in your own time. Find which one works best for you. Refer back to the booklet that has more details. And yeah, enjoy.